Guys, you gotta check engine light. You wanna check it? You can get one of those little cheap scanners from the auto parts store, or you can get a not as cheap but still pretty cheap scanner. Check this thing out, huh? Top Don. This is not Top Gun, but it's Top Don. Kind of sounds gangster, I'll say. Anyway, this is a pretty cool touchscreen scanner. Lets you do all the good stuff. We've been trying it on a couple of cars, and so far it's worked on everything. I'm pretty excited about it because most of these, if you buy something from like Snap-on or someone, these are thousands and thousands of dollars. This thing's under 200 bucks. I don't think you can go wrong, especially considering the options you have. You can do your ABS, you can do your engine control stuff, transmission control, emissions readiness. Everything is kind of on here. So maintenance reset, pretty cool. So if you get a chance, check them out. This is the Artie Diag 500S. It's actually a pretty decent unit for the money, and we've been using it around the shop. So far, so good. Hello from the lab. Doing some stuff here on the RC car. And I wanted to talk about some of the automotive related news that's going on right now. I thought it would be kind of a good thing to just touch on because we've got a couple of good things on the horizon, a couple of bad things on the horizon. Why not just discuss them all? Anyway, first thing I wanted to talk about is the new Yaris, the Gazoo Racing Yaris from Toyota that's coming out. Now that's a pretty interesting vehicle that Toyota has decided to bring to the States, which I'm very happy they are because we just don't have enough hot hatch stuff here. There's the Golf, there's the Golf R, there's the Focus RS or the Fiesta. There's a couple, but this represents a deviation from standard hatch delivery. This is a completely new thing here in the US, I should say. I'm gonna say pretty new. And what's interesting about this Yaris is the motor. It's a 1.6 liter 3-cylinder. So they've gone the Bombardier way, I want to say. That's the Sea-Doo 3-cylinder. Sea-Doo has been making 300 plus horsepower 3-cylinders for years, but we haven't seen them in cars. And we know it's totally possible, especially considering what has already been presented through personal watercraft stuff. So I'm excited to see that. This is a 270 horsepower 3-cylinder, 1.6 liter. 1.6 is pretty much the same size as the Sea-Doo as well, which is odd. The idea machine is running. And I'm sure with minimal mods, you can really get some serious power out of it because it's turbocharged. It's also all-wheel drive. It's got a completely rally-inspired suspension, braking, everything that goes with that package. The interior is really interesting. The whole thing just looks pretty well-rounded, so I'm excited to see one in the flesh and actually take it for a spin. The Toyota Yaris is known to be an economical hatch around here. Has pretty much no performance value, but with this rendition, with all of the stuff that it comes with, all upgraded, all uprated, that's going to be making for a very interesting drive. So we'll see what that presents as the time comes. I think that we're looking probably end of the year, close to it, somewhere in that range, before we see the first ones. But we'll see. Second one that I really, really, really hope becomes a reality, as far as the hatches go, another one, is the Tesla. That's the Model A. Really been waiting for that ever since, I think it was Battery Day a couple of years ago. They kind of announced that they were going to be doing a sub $30,000 Tesla. I was like, okay, that's good. Saw some renderings. I don't know, nothing official, but it's a hatch. So that's going to be really cool. Kind of sparks my interest, pun intended. So we'll see what that means as well, because Both of those cars represent a small, efficient, powerful package, considering what uh, motor is going to be in that Toyota, and then considering what Tesla has done with all their other cars. I don't think Tesla has a low power option. So, you know, all of the Teslas are very capable with their electric stuff. And if they make, God forbid me saying this, if they make a plaid version of a hatch, it would be an absolute animal. I don't even know how to describe that. It would definitely be the fastest thing on wheels. So either way, even if it's just a single motor, 350 horsepower electric car, at that size and weight, it's going to be exciting. So I'm excited for that. So good stuff aside, now let's go to a little bit of the bad stuff. As some of you have probably already seen in other videos that are circulating the YouTube realm, there was a list that the government put out of vehicles that were illegally brought into this country. Now, this list has supposedly 400 cars, and that's quite a bit. And as far as I know, there are quite a few of them that found their home in Florida. So I'm curious as to how this is going to go down. But from everything that I've seen and heard and talked to, you know, it's a case-by-case ordeal. And if you have a car that's on this list, you're a target. So I don't, luckily, but I also do think that there is room for interpretation of this law from, you know, a legal standpoint. So if you do have one of these, I would definitely seek counsel and look for a lawyer, seek out a lawyer that's knowledgeable in these importation laws and things like that, because I do think that there is a course of action that will protect you, considering that most of these cars, even if they were initially brought here under the radar, they did go through a process that required taxation, it required registration, it required titling. All of those things were done by the government. And if you ask any lawyer, you know, there is a level of responsibility that takes precedence when you pay taxes and when you do things, even if, you know, there was some misinterpretation of the law or whatever. There's boundaries for that, because you have put money into the system in order to accommodate for those laws. So I don't know, I'm really curious to see how it goes down. I don't think the value of those cars is really going to be hurt too much because the laws are changing all the time. So I'm sure that there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some you know, some things that will allow those cars to stay, some of them at least. Right now, what they're saying is the car's got to be shipped out, destroyed, or can be basically depapered to the point where it's just a piece of furniture, if you will, a non-functional display or something like that. But I mean, come on, what are they going to do? Come and take your... I mean, there's nothing you can do really to make them non-functional, because you can always add motors and parts later. You'd have to literally destroy the car anyway in order to make it non-functional. So anyway, I don't think that most of these cars are going to get taken away. I don't think they're going to leave. I think they're going to be kept here under those loophole laws as display cars and things like that. And we're going to see them again in the years to come when the laws change or get, you know, manipulated to the point where they're no longer illegal. You know, we have that 25-year rule. We have things like that. And those laws are always constantly being checked under a microscope. So let's see what happens with those. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be dealing with too many gray market cars anymore, just because they just don't pay, honestly. Right now, especially, if you want to buy one, you're going to pay almost, you know, full retail, regardless of who you get it from. So before, it was kind of like a, you know, who you know in Japan type of thing, where you could just find one and they're willing to sell it for pennies on the dollar, bring it here, do all the work, and then turn around and make some good money on it. And I don't think those days are around anymore. So there's no more these cars. There's no more supply, no more surplus of these cars. They're going away slowly, and they're not making anymore. So if you have one, I say hold on to it. I wouldn't try to do anything else with it at this point. Hold on to it, see what happens, enjoy it as much as you can. But I really don't think it's going to be a big deal for everybody with this list that they put out. So you're a target, but get your ducks in a row. Talk to a lawyer. Make sure you've got what you need in order to prove what you need to prove to maintain ownership. Anyway, aside from all that, we got some cool stuff coming. You're going to love this or hate it. I am going to turbocharge the diesel tractor, I'm pretty sure. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be an interesting ordeal. We've got some more e-bike stuff that we're going to be doing, and we've got to get this little drag car out. So stay tuned. Lots more to come as usual. I hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you in the next one.